This video is going to be my reaction to the Ravens' 20-10 win over the Chargers in Los Angeles Sunday Night Football. Kind of a difficult game to watch, to be honest with you. Whether it was the Ravens and Chargers or not, I didn't think it was an extremely cleanly played game. And in fact, most of the games in Week 12, including the Thanksgiving games on last Thursday, I thought had been quite sloppy and difficult to sit through 60 minutes of it. This one is going to be challenging for me to do a complete reaction video of because there's at least two things I have a suspicion of that I can't prove right now because the film hasn't come out yet, number one. Number two, the broadcast angle doesn't show us sufficient information to try to elaborate. Now, I'll kind of give you a little bit more detail as the video goes on. This one should not have been as close as it was. The Chargers are a very poor football team. They've lost a lot of close football games, so I understand that most teams in the NFL are playing close games. I think the average score of the 1 o'clock games today was 18-12. 20-10 is right in line with that in terms of 30 points total being scored. The Chargers lack creativity offensively, if you ask me. Defensive talent doesn't stack up at all to what we offer, and we still let them hang around because of how inept our offense was from top to bottom, coaches and players. We know the defense went out there and just balled out. Gave up one touchdown and one field goal on 11 drives against Justin Herbert and the Chargers at their stadium. We ended the night with 3 sacks, three takeaways on defense. That nasty strip sack by Clowney early in the fourth quarter when we were leading 13-3 looms large now when you look back on it. Because a score there by the Chargers would have changed the dynamic quickly with a lot of time left at that moment. I thought our safeties played amazing tonight. A couple of guys in the Discord mentioned it. Stone did have a missed tackle, maybe 2 to the boundary, but I thought was great in coverage. Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams had a pass breakup early in the second quarter. Arthur Millette had a sack, should have had a sack on the last play of the game, had an interception to end the second quarter. I thought he was all over. Cool call by Mike McDonald on that 4th and 6 to bring Millette off the edge. 4th and 6, he drops both D tackles out, blitzes Millette off the edge, goes down as an intentional grounding, so incomplete pass, I guess, but one of those situations you would love to see Millette get credit for the sack, but unable to do it. Great game from Mike McDonald, gutsy call there. Roquan and Patrick Queen, I thought, played like a couple of heat-seeking missiles. The DBs, the outside corners, I know Keenan Allen had 14 catches, but a lot of them were speed outs to the boundary, or things where they motioned and manipulated to like pigeonhole the football to him. Now they do count. It's 14 catches, don't get me wrong. But I did not feel like this was a dominant performance where we just could not cover Keenan Allen at all. And he got 14 catches, but it could have been 17 or 18. It didn't seem like that type of game to me. It almost seemed like a basketball game where a guy takes 34 shots and he gets 28 points, but it took 34 shots to do it. I know that's somewhat of a poor analogy there because he was efficient in terms of, I think, total targets and catches. I think he had 16 targets and 14 catches. Chargers finished the night averaging 4.2 yards per play against our defense, right in line with some of the things we've done to teams like the Lions and the Seahawks. Only tonight, our offense couldn't get out of its own way. Mike McDonald and those dudes deserve a ton of credit and we needed it because the margin for error tonight was not as large as it should have been, in my opinion, because the Chargers are clearly struggling to be consistent. We either left points on the field or had decisions from a coaching staff that appears to lack situational awareness in any moment that comes up that's unscripted, meaning something happens and you've got 30 seconds or maybe 15 seconds to decide what to do about it. And to me, our decisions consistently are poor in that regard. Let me elaborate a little bit. First of all, Tucker missed a kick. That would have helped. Yanked it left. It was a weird finish by his body there. We had some situations where we left plays on the field, clearly. Lamar was able to find Zay Flowers on a deep pass up the right hash. About 11 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter. Scores 13-3. And look, Flowers played great. He had 2 touchdowns, touchdown catch, the long, fast sweep where he made one cut, took it to the house for the final margin. He played fantastic. That throw would have extended, probably would have been another scoring drive at that point. It's 13-3, about 11 and a half minutes left. I thought Lamar looked really bothered by the Chargers' coverages about mid-second quarter on, somewhere in that area. I know we scored on our second possession, long possession. I'll break that one down here in a minute. I have no idea what was happening in terms of the coverage. I know Khalil Mack played a role. He had 2 sacks. I did a preview video on him last week, having a great, fantastic season. I think 14 sacks now or 13. But Lamar did not look comfortable with the coverages he was seeing after that opening flurry of passes where we were hitting the slants or hitting likely to the boundary. It didn't seem like he was going through the progressions about mid-second quarter on. And I have no idea what that situation was, if he was being told one thing in the headset and then the Chargers showed something different on that particular play, or if guys weren't getting open and it was man, which is not what I suspect. I feel like the Chargers went to more zone stuff after playing a lot of man early on, but I could be wrong because early, Lamar's getting the ball out quick to Likely, OBJ, Bateman. Clearly, the run game had some effectiveness tonight. Almost 200 yards rushing, I think 197. But I don't know, but I can't put my finger on it. It didn't seem integrated with the flow, meaning we weren't running and passing from the same looks. And I don't know how to necessarily describe this. Things did not look well coordinated offensively tonight to me at all. And I mean that from the top down. Monken, Lamar, and especially the O-line at times. Clearly they had trouble in pass pro. One thing I do have to mention, I want to elaborate on, is the lack of situational awareness. So let me go to, well, let me review the second possession first. Let me do it that way. This is old stick, me talking about our lack of situational awareness. So we don't score on our first possession. The Chargers go down on their first possession, and they get a field goal. They're up 3-0. So our second possession is a long one. We're able to go down and get the touchdown to Flowers on the second and goal. The second play here, the screen to Likely to the boundary for 18 yards, was pretty incredible. I think Likely is got Mack in front of him, and then Mack blitzes off the edge. Additionally, the completion to Mitchell on the first play of the second quarter for 15 yards was awesome, and we ran snag flat or slant flat. I don't know how many times tonight. It seemed like a ton. If someone told me we ran it 15 times, I'd believe them. I have it 3 times on this possession. We did have, I feel like we did a great job of sharing the football to our running backs. But if the Ravens come out on Monday and they were to announce Keaton Mitchell's our number 1 running back and we want to get him the ball 12 to 14 times a game, I wouldn't have a problem with that because there's so many plays tonight where the burst and even the ability to break tackles, is there. A couple of his 4 or 5 yard runs, he's like damn near getting through the tackle there, and there's a lot of clear space. So I wouldn't have a problem if we got less carries for Gus and Justice Hill by 15, 18, 20% just to get Keaton Mitchell more touches. And I'll talk more about him and Zay Flowers here in a little bit. But in any case, the second possession, it seemed to me a lot of man. And those slants or that snag concept on the backside was open. The 3rd and 9 to Bateman was a slant against man. Throw was a little high. Amazing catch by Bateman for 13 yards. Very fortunate. I don't want to say fortunate. It's a blessing that he was able to catch the football because the coverage was pretty good. And we get the first down, end up converting it into a touchdown on the second and goal to Flowers. Beats number 33 inside. I thought we took advantage of him multiple times early on in the game. So a moment there where our offense looks normal because we're able to take a 7-3 lead. And then the situational awareness stuff that I want to address. This is the third possession where we go for it. And we don't challenge the spot beforehand. So what I'm talking about is it's a 3rd and 3 from the Chargers' 30-yard line. Our third possession. Our defense has just got to stop. We're up 7-3. Lamar escapes, goes to a knee. Khalil Mack is chasing him. I think Lamar stiff arms someone. It might have been the picture that just popped up. And to me, he's got the first down. I mean, I don't know what the refs were looking at. To me, it looks like he's clearly got it. Amazing play. But they rule him a little bit short. I think we huddle. It doesn't surprise me that we go unbalanced, and it's Gus in the shotgun. I'm not the biggest fan of us going for it all the time, but I'm fine with us going for it here. My complaint is, why didn't we challenge for the measurement? I don't get it. When a challenge to me gets you a first down that creates an entirely different set of dynamic for your offense, and you're already up 7-3. I wonder, what the hell are we paying an entire analytics department for? What are those guys there for if no one can say, hey, John, let's challenge this. It looks like we've got it. Now, maybe that conversation did occur. I don't listen to the press conferences, but we end up going for it. Gus doesn't get it. Okay, fine. He's great in short yardage. I don't really like the direct snap to Gus. I'd rather see Lamar hand it off or some type of possibility of Lamar giving it or keeping it to split the defense's attention between Gus and Lamar. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. My complaint is us not challenging it. Why? Because we did the same thing later on. In this case, we happened to get the ball right back after a fumble by the Chargers. They kind of gifted us the football back, and we're able to go up 10-3. I want to talk about the late second quarter situation, and this is going to be another negative to how I think the game was handled. Chargers' fifth possession, about a minute left in the half, maybe a minute and 10. They complete it in front of zone twice. Eckler fumbles. I think it was Queen there to force it. I'm not sure. And Pierce recovers it. We got the ball around the 47-yard line, just past midfield. We act like we're in a hurry. We're up 10-3 at this point. It almost seems like we're thinking we've got to get a touchdown to score. And the whole time I'm watching these plays unfold, the first one is a pass by Lamar where he double pumps versus zone. Again, I'm not sure what coverages they were playing. I suspect that they switched some things coverage-wise and got in the way of Lamar moving through the progressions. But as I'm watching these plays, because the very next play is an incompletion to Likely, and then the third one is a sack and a forced fumble, I'm thinking we're acting as if we don't get the ball to start the third quarter. Frank in our Discord said it best. We gave the ball back to the Chargers. We basically gave them a situation where they could throw a Hail Mary at the end of the half. And I'm sure that Harbaugh will explain it as, I'm okay with us going forward on 4th and 14. I'm okay. I'm talking about the first three play calls. 1st and 10 from the 47. At that point, it's our fifth possession, I believe. I don't think the passing game is generating consistent opportunities in the last 6, 8, 10 minutes of play when we've been on the field offensively. To me, at that point, I could already identify we're having trouble from the quarterback position, seeing what they're doing coverage-wise. Okay, that guy's not open, next guy. He's not open, next guy. That didn't happen tonight. Lamar didn't get to the third read at all. And when you watch the difference between him and Herbert tonight, in terms of getting to that third read, Herbert did it 6 or 8 times. Am I saying it's because he's better than Lamar? No. I'm saying something changed with the coverages in the second quarter and how it was being processed or how it was being handled on the field between Lamar and the receivers. And this situation here, up 10-3, with the ball, a minute left, past midfield already, run the football. Limit the Chargers' opportunity to get anything else going. I did not like these 3 play calls. The 4th and 14 incompletion to Bateman, okay, they end up getting a Hail Mary out of it. I don't think that's the fundamental way to handle this, to basically give them a Hail Mary, an opportunity to generate points or, God forbid, even a pass interference to get 3 points down there. I'm sure the analytics department or football nerds will point out to me where I'm wrong, but in any case, it was a weird first half. We end up being up 10-3. Defensively, I don't think this is a real good Chargers football team. I don't mean to be insulting. Khalil Mack had 2 sacks, including that forced fumble that I mentioned, with about 15 seconds left in the half. We open up the third quarter with a field goal, our 6th possession, I believe. I like the 3rd and 11 slot fade. I think it was to OBJ, but I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't OBJ. Maybe it was Flowers. So our 6th possession, ball on their 31, and we go up top to try to score against man, heavy pressure. I like the play call. Or the choice by Lamar, because at least we're either going to score, or get a defensive pass interference, but we're not going to take a sack. Like, don't take sacks, and that's one of the things that Lamar has done at times that is maddening, if you ask me. We get the field goal to go up 13-3. Defense gets another stop, and then I don't understand why on the 2nd and 22 to Aguilar, with about, I want to say 6 minutes left in the third quarter, but I could be wrong there. Maybe a little later. It's a huge play by Lamar. Lamar makes a great throw to Aguilar on a 2nd and 22. To me, he's got the first down. I don't know why they spotted it where they did. And we don't challenge it. We run a bubble screen on the very next play to Flowers. I have no idea what Harbaugh says in press conferences, like I said, but it wouldn't surprise me if the play call, the play call there, that's a first down play call. That bubble screen to Flowers. Oh, by the way, Asante Samuel jumps it, and not only was it close to being an interception, that's the type of play that could have been a pick six. It's like, get the first down, Todd. I don't understand. I don't understand why we're not challenging, number one, and I don't understand, number two, why if Harbaugh comes out and says that we thought it was first down. To me, I thought we hurried up to the line there, but I may be misremembering that situation. But I thought it was huge mismanagement when you combine it with the fact that we did the very same thing in the first half on that 3rd and 3 scramble by Lamar where he got away from Khalil Mack, stiff-armed somebody. I think Lamar and Aguilar got the first downs just based on my live viewing of it. My complaint is with Harbaugh and an entire analytics department that some of you in the comment section have told me is so brilliant and so wonderful because the win probability is increased by a particular decision. Isn't our probability to retain the football longer increased if we get a first down? I'm okay with risking a timeout to get a first down when it looks pretty damn obvious to me that we did get it based on the run by Lamar and Aguilar. But in any case, we don't convert on what is a 3rd down and 1 to Flowers that apparently maybe we thought was a 1st and 10. Gus converts it on the very next play, a brutal collision with, I think it's Kenneth Murray, the inside linebacker. We then run snag flat for like the 18th time on the night, incomplete. And then another screen to Zay Flowers for a loss of 5. The ensuing 3rd down was a great throw by Lamar. I thought that Aguilar dropped. So clearly some blame needs to be assigned to Aguilar for that drop and maybe to Zay for the drop that I mentioned in the first half. But how is nobody, I don't know, maybe other people are on social media and maybe I just don't look enough. Maybe I'm wrong. People in our Discord are pissed off, and I was too, because then we do challenge the lateral from Keenan Allen to Eckler, which was closer than I thought live watching. Maybe I expect too much. I thought they did the replays in the stadium. I thought you got time between plays as a coaching staff to look at the board or hear somebody say, hey, coach, I just rewound and watch that. Now we appear to think that we've got to hurry up on any 3rd and short to convert, and I wonder if that persistent style of trying to convert 3rd and 1 doesn't have an impact on our normal thought processes. Hey, it looks like we got this first down, John. Let's challenge it. Let me look at it one more time. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll try to be positive towards the end here. I want to talk about Keaton Mitchell and Zay Flowers. It's pretty amazing. They're 21 and 23 years old, respectively. And tonight, they accounted for 153 of our 361 total yards on what I thought was a bad offensive night for Todd Monken, a bad coaching night for John Harbaugh, and a poor night for Lamar in terms of reading and reacting to the defense as a thrower of the football. Now, the actual throws tonight I thought were fantastic. The one to Zay that I already talked about on the 3rd down in the first half I thought was a great throw. The 22-yard completion to Aguilar. The one that was incomplete to Aguilar along the left side. I know the 3rd and 11 to whoever it was that I mentioned earlier before the field goal that puts us up 13-3. I know that one's a little bit overthrown, but I like the decision. I wish he gave us a little bit better chance to catch the ball. But in terms of actually throwing the ball tonight, I thought Lamar was great. Very good most of the time. But processing the coverages, 2nd quarter on, they did something, they changed something that made it more difficult for him. He ended up 18 of 32 for 177. Just wasn't comfortable in the pocket, if you ask me. If it wasn't an absolutely clean first read or maybe a second read, nothing really got done in the pass game tonight. I thought overall pass game took huge steps back. Credit to the Chargers. You got to give them credit. Whatever they did coverage-wise to switch was fine. But at the same time they made that switch, it seemed to me we started to generate chunk plays in the run game from multiple guys. I thought Justice Hill had a 14-yard run. Gus didn't really bust any big runs, 20-plus or anything like that. He did have a nice 11-yard catch. Keaton Mitchell was great everywhere we put him. I'm not sure about you, though. there was still that thought mid to late third quarter tonight where I was worried about another collapse. Not because of the defense, but because by that point, mid-late third quarter, the offense had been playing so weird and so unusual, I was almost expecting a turnover to happen. And I know that sounds terrible. Maybe you had totally different thoughts. Mine was worry that we were going to turn the football over and hand the Chargers another field goal or great opportunity for a touchdown against a defense that was just playing lights out tonight. 9 stops on 11 possessions, forced 3 turnovers, 3 sacks, I think 4 or 5 other quarterback hits. What those guys are doing on the defensive side of the football was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. It reminded me of how we have played at home against the Seahawks, at home against the Lions, in games where we totally flummoxed their offensive coordinator, and really all they had was, hey, let me motion my best player around and try to throw the ball to the boundary away from your nickel defender. Credit to the Chargers that they were willing to go hurry up. They're an 11 personnel team, to me, very reminiscent of the Bengals, in that if you stop the run game enough early, they pretty much just go away from it. In that regard, I would say it's kind of a soft offense, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Just it doesn't seem to be really truly committed to the run game. Yeah, they ended up with I think 89 yards tonight, but 37 of them or 36 of them was on one run by Justin Herbert. If you look at the other 18 carries they had, you're talking about like I think 53 yards, something like that, 54. So an offense that's not really complete, if you ask me, that our defensive coordinator and our guys were able to basically dismantle. It does feel good to get to 9-3 with a pretty healthy team going into the bye week. Our DBs and linebackers are as good as any in the league. I thought McDonald called a wonderful game, like 95, 97% of the time. Herbert was forced to go through multiple reads and find people, and there was times where he did that, but there was also times where he was clearly frustrated with having to go beyond what is normal timing for him and for that offense. We get a bye, and then we host the Rams at home, so there's a lot of good to come out of this. Nonetheless, a real step back offensively for our coordinator, I think. Our head coach doing at least 2 confusing things for me in terms of not challenging things and then deciding to run the football, deciding not to run the football ahead 10-3 with a minute left in the half, already past midfield. Perhaps my timing is wrong there. Maybe it was less than a minute. Maybe you disagree. If so, let me know in the comment section. I feel like we played tonight as if we had to win the game 30-3 from an offensive standpoint. I'm not talking about the defense at all. I'm absolving them of any of this criticism. My negativity is solely focused on Harbaugh's decision-making tonight, lack of situational awareness, what I think was some really poor and confusing play calls by Todd Monken. You guys let me know what you think of those thoughts in the comment section. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this reaction video to our 9th win of the 2023 season, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.